Are we going?
We're going.
Oh, shit, yes. All right, we're good. All right, guys. How's it going? I just want to introduce you to our new podcast. My name is Matt. This is my boy, Naeem.
What up?
Our new podcast is called Midlife Playbook. And we are just a couple dudes, couple married dudes, navigating life with kids, with jobs, with families, all the things.
And hopefully you guys can relate to some of this stuff, and just, you might be going through something and you don't have a sounding board or you don't think anyone else is going through the same thing you're going through. We're here to let you know you are. You've got company.
By no means are we professionals in this. We are not any kind of professionals to say what you should and shouldn't do. We're just going to share our experiences and hope maybe people can relate to what we're going through and maybe get a laugh out of it. Maybe our experience and how we handled it kind of helps you get through your day. And that's really the whole point of all of this. We don't have a script. We don't have really any direction to go. We're just going to start talking and see what happens.
So pretty much a shit show on a podcast.
Exactly. So I think we're just going to start with giving a little bit of background of both of us. I'll maybe go first. So I am married. I have been married for 10 years. I've been with my wife for a total of 16. We have 3 kids, ages 3, 12, and 10. I am 48 years old. I'll be 49 here in a couple months. So I'm staring down the gun barrel at 50. Education, I am high school diploma only. I do not have a college degree. I grew up in Cincinnati, Ohio. I still live in the Cincinnati area. And as far as what I do for work now, I am in the manufacturing industry, and that's about it for me.
All right, bro.
Sorry, we had a little interruption. Sorry about that.
A little doggish here. Yeah, you guys, we love our dogs. You know what I mean? So I'm Naeem. I'm married as well. This is my second marriage, and we've been married for 3 years. Been together for 5. Grew up in Buffalo, New York. Go Bills! Here we go. All right, I'm 44. I'll be 45 in February. I am college educated. I have a degree in business and, with a concentration in marketing, pharmaceutical sales. So, yes, I am a legal drug dealer, if you want to call it that. And I've been doing that for about 18 years. And, yeah, so, we're just living here in Ohio, doing our thing, trying to make it. Me and my buddy Matt, trying to give you guys a little something. We're really doing this for ourselves, to keep ourselves busy during the winter time because it can get kind of somber with the gray skies and everything. And we thought that there's probably some people out there going through the same things that we go through with this whole seasonal depression thing. And we just want to let you know you're not alone. So here we go. What were Matt?
Well, I want to say something first. I forgot to say this is also my second marriage as well, and I think it might be important for everybody to know moving forward with some of the topics we discussed. Both of our marriages kind of ended the same way.
Yep.
Our first wives decided, hey, you want to see other people and not tell us. So both of our first marriages ended in cheating and kind of getting blindsided by it, the whole 9 yards. And this whole idea came. We actually had our first guys' night in a long time. Naeem and I were having a discussion, and we said, hey, this would be great if we shared this with other people, because we know dudes don't talk about stuff, right? So we're going to talk about stuff.
Yeah.
So we were going to talk about our kids' sports, because it's sports season coming up, and we're always busy. But we decided we're not going to talk about that, are we, Naeem?
No, we're not going to talk about that at all, Matt. We're going to talk about what the fuck happened tonight. With our type A ass wives who decided that, listen, we kind of live out in the suburbs, and we've got this local watering hole. What's it called?
Liberty Inn.
Yep, Liberty Inn. And we go there. There's a drawing on Sundays. People win money, but it's all regulars. We all know each other. We all go there. And so Matt, Jamie, Lish, and I, we all go there on Sunday for the drawing. We have a couple of cocktails on Sunday fun day. And then, we wrap it up and we come home.
Right. So the plan was we were going to have a couple of the drawings around 6 o'clock. We were going to have a couple drinks after that. And then the 4 of us were going to come home. Naeem and I are coming down to the basement where we are now. to record this, the wives are going to go upstairs and do whatever women do when they talk to each other. I don't know, paint each other's nails, comb their hair. I don't know what the fuck
Maybe
they were
do
going to
some
do.
dishes.
Right, run a vacuum or something. I don't know. But instead, the ladies are like, no, we're going to stay behind. You guys go on to the house, do your little thing. We'll be home later.
They just left us. Literally looked at us in our eyes and said, oh, you guys want to go do your little podcast? Well, you go do your little podcast. And we're going to stay here. We're going to drink. And we're going to have a good time. And we're like, what the? Like, how does that even happen?
So, on the surface, some of you may be immediately thinking, no big deal, right? Women can do that. They're allowed. We're all adults here. And I agree with that. But remember, you're talking to two guys that both of their first marriages ended in cheating. Right? So we decided we're not going to talk about the kids' sports. Let's talk about some repercussions of that decision on their part, which may be a big deal to some, maybe not. Let's talk about some insecurities that may come up from that maybe some of you out there, instantly some of your dudes are like, oh, hell no. I'd never let my wife stay behind her. That bitch is coming home with me.
Right.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah. Let's unpack that. So,
let's unpack that.
I mean, really, the biggest thing that we can talk about with this whole issue is being our second marriage, we found women in our lives, or they found us, however it may have happened. We found women that we know without a doubt, 100%. We can leave them at a bar, or they can go out on girls' night, and we have no worries whatsoever. They are true. I hate this damn phrase, but they are true ride or dies.
I agree.
Like they're
Both
not.
of them.
Yeah, and I don't think either one of us can say that about our previous.
No, clearly not. They were not.
Clearly,
they were not.
Like evidently,
we found out later they were not ride or dies.
Right. But these two, like we kind of made a whole big joke about it that they were gonna stay behind and we're gonna go and and everything. But on a serious note. Matt, remember, so the other night, I pulled you aside. We were at Topgolf. Mm-hmm. We're golfing. And I was like, how do you handle it? Because you've been married for 16 years.
Yep.
You guys have been together for 16 years.
We've been together for 16 years, yes.
Right. And so I said, we've been married. I'm more recently divorced. We've only been together for 5 years, married for 3, almost 3. And so I was like, when she goes out on girls' nights, it kind of bothers me a little bit. I know she's not going to do anything. I know that.
Yep.
It's the guys that bother me. They're going to do something. And how is she going to react? Is she going to reciprocate that attention, or is she going to just say, listen, I'm married, back off.
Right.
What's it going to do? And then how do I, when I'm at home, stewing with my brain just turning and churning and just going and going and going. How do I remain calm and, to kind of turn that whole thing off?
Yeah. So for me in the beginning with my wife, it was extremely difficult to turn that off. I was in the same boat. I had met my wife 6 months after my divorce. So everything that happened to me was extremely fresh in my mind. The story of how mine ended, I came home from work one day and there's a moving truck in my driveway. Right.
Damn.
I was completely blindsided. She said, I met somebody. I'm leaving you for him. Fuck off. See you later. Have a great life. Right.
Bro, stop. Every time I've heard that out of your mouth before.
Yeah.
Every time I hear that, that is savage as hell.
It was savage.
I
came to find out. So it goes deeper. I found out after the fact she had a burner phone that she was communicating him with. So they had 2 different phones. She had a totally separate cell phone. And that's how him and this dude were communicating. Her and this dude were communicating, was with this completely other phone, right? So completely savage. So fast forward to how I kind of dealt with it. I didn't deal with it very well at all in the beginning.
How could you? No one would.
Right. Nobody was. So I would sit home and I would stew on it and I would pace. I wouldn't be able to sleep. I would lay awake until I knew she was home. And even then I would still wonder, what happened? What did you do? Who were you talking to? I had to trust her. At the end of the day, I had to find a way to open my heart back up and trust her and realize that she was with me for a reason, and just hope. There was a lot of hope. There was a lot of blind trust. There was a lot of blind hope. She did not know a lot about my marriage in the beginning. She does now, But in the beginning, I did not divulge a whole lot of information about it. She knows it now. So I've been asked this before, and I just told him, man, time. It's time, and it's picking up on little cues. You know, when she comes home, she's all over you. She's happy to see you. She wants to tell you about her night. I would say that's probably your best indicator that she's not doing anything else.
Right.
Is she in communication with you while she's at the bar? Are you able, or out with her friends, are you able to text her and say, just checking in, how's it going? And she responds right away, right?
That's the big thing for me too. Is like because when they go out early on in the evening, you know, it's all like the communication's all there.
Right.
But then, you know, just like, the same thing would happen if you and I were out.
Correct.
With all our boys, and we're doing our thing, and as the night goes on, we're having more drinks. You know, maybe I don't feel that watch vibration.
Right.
Maybe I don't hear that phone ding.
Yep. You don't
and I miss it. So, but if I respond to you, and 5 minutes goes by, I'm like, oh shit, what's going on? Like, where is it?
It's really tough, man. And
it's tough.
I wish I had a great answer, and I don't. For me personally, it was just sweating it out a little bit. To be quite honest with you. Sweating it out, and a lot of blind hope and a lot of blind faith that she was going to be true to me.
Yeah.
And as time went on, it proved to be true. And I'm here to tell you, 16 years into the relationship, I still get those feelings sometimes. And it's not her, it's what are other guys going to do?
Right.
As soon as we left that bar tonight, what's other guys going to do?
Right.
Because our women are not hard to look at, right? Our wives are not a 10-pack wife, right?
Right.
They're easy on the eyes, both of them. They're beautiful women.
Yeah.
They're very strong type personalities type.
They get mistaken for sisters all the time.
They get mistaken for sisters all the time. So it is tough. So my best advice to anybody out there, any dude out there that's going through the same thing, my personal experience, it was time, and it was gaining that trust back, which did not happen overnight, and picking up on the little clues, right? Like even during the week when she's not out, is she quick to respond to your texts? When you're in that dating stage, is she holding up to her end of the date, like not canceling dates on you?
Yeah.
Not backing out last minute, right?
Yeah.
She doesn't back out last minute, right?
Right.
Those are the best things I could do. I can tell you. And then, you know, in your case, Naeem, your wife waited a long time before she got married, right?
40 years.
Pushing 40 years old before she got married, and then she chose you.
Yeah.
So that tells you she was waiting for the right one.
Yeah.
Right. So you got to remember that. You got to tell yourself that. And if they're not giving you any reason not to trust them, then you trust them.
Right.
But yeah, it's a shitty feeling, man. It's not great.
Right.
The anxiety, all those things.
Like, and if you break down what trust really is, it's the ability to have faith in somebody without any evidence whatsoever, right?
Yep. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, you just gotta. It's blindly.
It is
trusting someone.
I think in the beginning it is.
Yeah.
I think in the beginning it's blind trust, and then you gain it, and you understand. Yeah. So they're at the bar right now, while we're doing this. But they told us they were going to stay.
Yeah, look, that's right. Dead in our damn eyes.
Right. They told us
Type A personalities.
They're like, you boys go home, do your little podcast. We're going to sit here and drink.
They said, we'll be there in 40 minutes. We'll see you in 40 minutes.
So what goes through your head immediately in that moment?
Immediately, I'm like, well, what's at the bar that you need to stay here for? Why can't you come home? That's immediately, that's the first thing that runs through my head. But then I have to, go back to our relationship, and I have to go back to the trust that we have within each other, and I have to tell myself, so I don't say that to them.
Right.
But what I do tell myself is that, listen, your wife loves you. Mm-hmm. She waited 40 years to find you.
Yep.
She had some opportunities before you where guys actually, proposed to her, and she turned them all down. Mm-hmm. But she said yes to you. Yeah, right. That's a huge deal.
Right.
She said yes to you. So guess what? Your wife's coming home to you. They just want to have fun. Maybe they don't want to sit up in the kitchen while we sit down here and do a podcast in the basement.
Right.
That's boring. They're at a bar. That's a lot of fun. We all go to it all the time. Why wouldn't you want to stay there?
Right.
So you got to kind of talk yourself through those steps if you have that anxiety. And I have to do it all the time. Because like you said, I don't even like to call her my ex-wife, but, but my previous marriage, I didn't have that same confidence whatsoever.
Right.
It was,
So I did in my marriage until I didn't. Right. So she had never given me a reason to think anything else was different until it was.
Yeah.
So early on in my new relationship with my current wife, it was hard. For many years, it was hard. And after a while, she started picking up on it, and it caused some tension. And I was not a great husband to her, or boyfriend for that matter, early on. I would do and say things to try to make her feel guilty to stay home. Very narcissistic behavior, right?
Dude, that's pretty...
I'm not proud of it. But it happened.
That's pretty good for you to admit that, though.
Oh, I know.
A lot of people will say that.
I was a shithead.
Narcissists will not admit that they're being a narcissist.
It was very narcissistic behavior. I would take little digs here and there to try to make her feel bad, to A, not go out at all, or B, come home early. For no reason other than my own personal insecurities about her out cheating on me. And it took me several years to kind of move past that. And luckily, part of the reason I was able to move past it is because she stuck by my side this whole time, right? My wife was 29 years old, when I met her. She's still 29 now.
Right.
But she was 29 when I met her. Somehow she's still 29.
All right. We're getting older and
balder and fatter. I don't know. How the hell are you still 29?
Right.
But I was very narcissistic early on. And it wasn't great, and she stuck with me. So that was part of my ability to kind of move past it. So my perspective on tonight, what goes through my mind, so remember, I'm 16 years in. My immediate thought was, okay, I know who you're with, and I know you're with a good person. So who? I guess the question is, you also have to look at who she's staying with, right? So is your wife choosing to stay behind with somebody that's known to be in their hoe stage or hoe phase of life, who's single, who's maybe looking?
Huge.
Or in our case, she's staying behind with an established married woman who's just there to have fun.
Right.
So my thoughts tonight were at first I was like, I can't believe you guys don't want to come home with us. And I was like, okay, you want to hang out and have some drinks, that's fine. My concern is are they going to be safe, right?
Yeah.
Are they going to be safe? And are they going to have any problems? I just want them to get home safe. I want to make sure everything's okay, right? Because I know she's with a solid person that's also not looking to do anything. If she was with a single woman in a hoe phase, the anxiety level would have probably gone up. Because I'm here to tell you, 16 years later, it's not completely gone. It's mostly gone.
Yeah.
But it's not completely gone. There's still times that I'm like, man, because if something were ever to happen between me and my wife, I 100% know she would have no problem moving on, because both of our wives have been hit on in the bars when we're there and present.
Right.
Dudes have tried to hit on them. So that's always something you got to kind of deal with internally. And it can be tough, right? Time tells the story.
Yeah.
And their actions tell the story. And if your wife, your girlfriend, or whatever she is to you, is still showing you that she wants to be with you, she's engaged, she's talking to you about stuff, even when she comes home from her night out, instead of just going to bed, she still wants to do whatever with you, then I think you're probably good to know that you're okay.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, definitely. I think a really good sign when, I think when both of our wives come home, they come home from their girls' nights and they come talk to us and they tell us all about their night.
Correct.
Like they can't wait. They can't wait to just unload the whole thing on us. And like, oh my God, you'll never believe what happened when this is.
And they apparently they like to fight sometimes too, we found out.
Right. So they've renamed. What did they rename their damn?
Their girls' night out is now called Fight Night.
Fight Night.
Last 2 times they've gone out without us, they've managed. Now they're not getting into knockdown, dropout brawls or anything, but they've definitely got into some hair pulling contests.
Oh yeah, for
sure. The last
sure.
time we've been out.
Well, the last one, the one girl was just standing there, and some girl came up to her and just yanked her hair and dragged her down to the ground.
One of the girls in our group was just there, and she got drugged down by another girl, and my wife decided that she was going to be a wrestling, and went up and grabbed her hair and pulled her straight down.
Right. And then what was my wife?
Your wife.
The whole time
she's
just
what's
like
going
in
on?
awe. Like, what? And she's the one who everyone's afraid of. Like, honestly, in the whole friend group, there's 2 women that everyone's afraid of. It's Matt's wife and it's my wife. Matt's wife went into action. My wife, frozen.
I think the insecurities of that is something we'll probably talk about a lot.
Yeah.
They never really fully. I think you just take it day to day, incident to incident, and see what happens. But definitely I would say as dudes, we don't talk about this stuff, right? Nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody cares. We're men. Suck it up. Rub some dirt on it. You'll be fine. But I don't think that's the case. I think that's part of our hope with this podcast is at least if nothing else, at minimum, it's a voice that you hear that it's not just happening to you. It's happening to everybody else too.
Yeah.
Right.
This definitely has to be a place of, us actually doing the podcast gives us a place to vent,
Correct.
which I really like, which is very
Correct.
therapeutic. And, if you guys are just listening, you're like, oh my gosh, it's not just me.
Right.
Holy crap, when my wife goes out,
Right.
I'm thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
And so is this guy. And so many of us are thinking the same thing. So just take a lot of, safety and comfort in the fact that you've got a lot of people out there that are going through the same thing that you're going through.
Surely somebody in your life is going through the same thing. And if you're not ready to talk to somebody, which I've never really talked about my side of this until recently, it's all about finding somebody you can confide in too, right? But if you don't have that person and you're kind of stewing on your own emotions like I was for many years, it's very tough. The only thing I did was I was always trying to find something to get my mind off of it. Watch TV, do whatever, right? I don't really read books, but watch TV, scroll around on your phone, watch TikToks, whatever, right? Something to try to get your mind off of it, to try to put your mind at ease, and knowing that you're with the person you're with. And ultimately, they might be cheating on you, right? You don't know.
Shit, Matt.
It happened to me. That's how my first marriage ended.
Right,
And I had no anxiety. Let me tell you, I had no anxiety in that marriage.
I didn't
ever.
see that coming out of your mouth
Ever.
at all. I just want to say that. I just want to say I didn't see that coming at all. But it's so true.
It is.
It's so
It's
true.
a reality.
Like
right?
I will say it in my first marriage, like I wouldn't say that I have the security that I have now that I have
Right.
in this marriage, but
Right.
I will say I never thought in a million years
It would
that
happen
it
to
would
you.
happen. I always used to tell myself, we have a bond that can never be broken.
Right.
Little did I know it was
Right.
very easily broken.
Right.
And it was broken for a few months before I actually found out.
Yeah,
And
mine was too.
the thing is, I would say the best way that I've found that you can enhance your marriage or your relationship is 100% communication.
Yeah.
You've got to communicate the difficult things. You've
Yep.
got to talk. If you have an insecurity, if you're feeling a certain way, bring it up.
Yep.
You've got to bring it up and not like, hey, who are you out there, screwing somebody else? You can't do it that way. But just say, hey, listen, I'm feeling a certain way. I want to
Right.
bring this up to you, and I want to get your thoughts on it. And I think when you have a complete line of communication, which is difficult, don't take that lightly at all. I still, to this day, at 44 years old, there are certain questions I want to ask my wife, and it might take me a day or two to ask those questions.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but when you get those answers, I mean, I've asked my wife some questions sometimes, and I'm like, man, I'm dreading this answer, or I really don't want to know what she has to say, or I'm feeling a certain way, and I want to ask this. And then when I finally ask it, and then she just gives me the most beautiful answer ever,
Yeah.
and I know it's truthful,
Right.
it alleviates all the anxiety
Yep.
and all the stress. You got to do it. Communication.
Yeah, I will say that is something I did not do well early on either. I just swallowed a lot of my emotions, right? Because I was of the mindset, I'm a man, nobody cares. Nobody wants to listen to what I have to say. So I would swallow them. And it led to some arguments, and it led to some disagreements, and I'm not sure, by the grace of God, she stayed with me, which made me realize early on that she wasn't going anywhere, right? So that's, to Naeem's point, I was not good at communication. But yes, you need to communicate. 16 years later, I'm going to tell you, communication, understanding, and just knowing knowing your partner without them having to tell you all the time, right? But that comes from communication early on.
Without having to tell you what all the time. What are you talking about there?
Like just little things from day to day, and it doesn't necessarily have to do with them going out, just their likes, their dislikes, something as simple as what they like to eat or what they don't want to eat, or do they like to go to movies? Do they not like to go to movies? What do they like to do for fun? The more you understand that, the more you build your life around that, and the longer stuff will happen, right? You start to understand each other's kind of ticks and not ticks, because you're not always going to get along. You're going to get into fights. My wife and I have fights.
If you're not fighting, it's not a real relationship.
Right. But
if you're happy every fucking day,
right.
It's not a real relationship.
But I also understand what makes her happy and what doesn't make her happy, right? So you just try to build off of that. But the anxiety thing, it's tough. But tonight, we had each other. We came home to Naeem's house here to do the podcast, and even talking about it makes you feel better, right? Just getting it out into the open.
Honestly, man, I haven't thought about them being at the bar one bit.
Right. See, and I haven't either. We're talking about it, and we weren't going to talk about this tonight. We had a completely different...
Totally different
topic. None of this is ever scripted, but we just have a topic to lead us in that direction. So
but that's what that's the beauty of this, guys, and guys, gals, whoever's listening, I just want you to know that all we're talking about is just what's happening in our lives.
Just to us, our experience.
That's it. We're not experts. We have 0 licenses.
Right.
We're just spitballing, and we hope you just find some comfort in it.
Right.
But yeah, that's the thing. It's just
our idea is, we're gonna do this once or twice a week, and we're gonna kind of talk about what has happened to us during the week or that day, or just kind of where life has taken us. Like I said, we both have multiple kids who are already in sports, and the stresses that come with that, with work, all the things, right? So this is really just a platform for you guys to hear our life experiences and how we handle it. We're not giving any kind of advice. We're just telling you what works for us, what doesn't work for us. And
I think, though, if people do want advice,
we can give some.
we should maybe open something up to where people can email us.
Yes,
maybe we'll come up with an email address.
Absolutely, that's a great idea.
You guys can email us some questions. We can answer some questions, and
from
our non-professional perspective,
from our non-professional day-to-day. No, I like that. Maybe we will set up an email, and you guys can email questions, and we'll be like, hey, this has happened to me. And I think between the two of us, we've probably seen and heard a lot of stuff, right? That's a great idea. So
absolutely,
I think we're probably going to wrap up this episode for now. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you maybe take a little bit of something from our experience from just tonight. And I guess we'll see you on the next one.
Yeah, we'll check in on you. Thanks, guys. We'll see you.